Okay, we're live. We're good. I always wait a minute for everyone to get... Sometimes it takes people a few minutes to get on. Alright, let me make sure I have all my paperwork. Hey guys, what is up? Sorry that I'm running a little bit late, but live never goes the same way when it is actually pre-planned and then you edit it and have it all fancy. So I guess, you know, when you actually do it, you know, you like set up your studio and then edit everything, it makes it look really pretty and perfect. So doing stuff live just isn't as easy. I'm sorry, guys. But we are ready to go. I have to have like moderators behind the camera and like have everything ready. So I'm so excited to talk to you guys right now about the museum. So I have to make sure, just remember it's live, so I have to talk to people. Are you guys ready to go? You're good? Okay, so the first disclosure that I want to talk about is if you guys don't want the museum tour ruined by, you know, watching this, then don't watch it. That's like the only thing I can tell you, okay? Because I'm going to go into detailed description of the museum. This is because I've literally had like hundreds of you guys from all over the world and in the United States say, I don't think I'm ever going to make it out there. I don't know when I'm going to make it out there. So will you please do a big descriptive one for you? So I said, I will. I'll do it for you guys, okay? So if you don't want to hear about it, don't watch. But there will be a giveaway at the end of this video, like I've told you guys. There were 2 winners. I was going to pick 1 winner last week, and I ended up picking 2. And I already emailed you guys, so make sure that you... I think I did get their info. Didn't I get their info already? I think I did. So there'll be a giveaway later in the video. So for now, let's talk about Zak's museum. And so I'm going to try to decide where to start. Okay, so I got a question earlier from a couple people. I was at the Renaissance Fair, and you guys were like asking me questions about the Renaissance Fair and about the museum, and I got some of the questions confused. So I thought we were talking about the Renaissance Fair. You guys were asking questions about the museum. So sorry we got that confused. So anyway, the museum is 16 and older. I know I had some questions on that, so I just printed this straight from Zak's website. So it's $34 a person. You have to be 16 and up in order to get in. And I think you have to have parental consent, like if you're 16 to 17. All right, let's see. So the first thing that was really interesting to me was Zak's. Okay, so you know what? I'm just going to start, like, I'm going to back up because not only did you guys want me to talk about details of the actual museum, but you guys wanted me to talk about things that I didn't like, right? Like, you guys love me to tear things apart, I guess. Like, you just love, like, when I just really get down and raw. So I'm going to do that with Zak's museum, too. Like, take in mind, this isn't me navigating you away from the museum. I still think everyone should go. This is just me saying, I see some issues that need to be worked out, and this is just my opinion on it, okay? So first of all, when you like drive up to the museum, the parking sucks. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. Like, Zak has a little parking lot up front and then a little parking lot in the back. I would say the one in the front is much smaller. The one in the back is larger. The problem is that they have a lot of staff that parks in the actual back parking lot. So then that takes away from everyone else that, you know, is just coming there to actually be a part of the experience. There is an abandoned church next door, and it's very, like very run down. Like, there's pieces of the outside missing and everything. So with this area, there's not only an extra parking space, but then in the back they have more parking. So Zak and the crew that work there have taken up part of the parking for that church, okay? So that parking area, they basically kind of rent out, if that makes sense. I think they're renting it temporarily. So if you go and you get frustrated, because I saw a lot of people stopping like in front of the museum, like there's no parking, where do I park? Go into the next parking lot and park in the back. And that is another issue. There's no signs for that. Like, if you're looking for extra parking, you kind of have to guess yourself, like, where do I go? So that's another issue I have. Like, we need some signs up. We need, like, more security out there, like, directing traffic, because it's in a very busy part of Vegas where there's just constant traffic. It's not just because of the museum. It's downtown Vegas. So you're going to get tourists anyways. Okay, so let's see. The next thing, there's security now. So the first time I went, there was not security. The second time I went, there was security. I have to guess that it has to do with the mass shooting in Vegas. So if you are carrying like a purse or a backpack, they will go through it. So they went through my purse and they just looked for weapons, I'm assuming, and then if you're okay, you're fine. So they let you go in. So then there's two lines, okay? The first line is, and once again, there's no signage. Like, you don't know where you're going. I wasn't the only one. Even the second time I was there, I'm still confused. Like, who do I talk to? There's no signs. There's no one directing people walking up. So there's two lines. There is a line where you initially check in. So, like, if you did purchase tickets online, you go talk to this person. And then this guy directs you where to go. So if you already have tickets, then you go stand in this next line, and that's the line you're waiting for the tour guides to come pick up the people. If he has tickets available, I'm assuming, like, if they have a sold out day, then he'll say, you can't come today unless you purchase tickets online, you'll have to leave. By the way, I went Friday the 13th, and it was, like, crazy busy, might I add. So I'm not sure if they're really keeping track of how many tickets they're selling, which I also have a concern with, because when I went the second time, which was literally yesterday, we went in a group of like 15 people that went in the tour group. And before that, I think there was about 8 people that I was with. 8 to 10 people max is very comfortable. A lot of the rooms are very small, depending on what the room, theme is. When I went with 15 people, it was like it wasn't fair. That's all I have to say. For the amount that you're paying to get inside of the museum, you should have not only experience with the people that you're surrounded with, but also with your tour guide. Like, if you have questions, or if you're afraid and you don't want to be in that room, you need like extra space to get out. 15 people was like obnoxiously large. There was a couple people in my group yesterday that weren't following the rules, like, don't have your cell phone, don't leave the room, don't leave the tour guide group, and they got in trouble. And that takes away from your focus and experience of what you're seeing. So I was very frustrated with that, to be completely honest. Okay, so another really weird thing that I found out. I did purchase my tickets online both times before I went in, okay? A lot of people are like, what is the taxes and fees? Okay, so it's $34 a person, and after you like go in the cart and like check out online, it gives you a total of $91 for 2 people. Okay, so you're like, whoa, wait a minute, that should be like $68, right? For 2 people. No, it's $91. So he's charging $23 in, quote, taxes and fees. It's not broken down. I don't really know what that means. Now, if you're looking at regular taxes, like 7% taxes, if you're charging one person $34, it would be about $2.38 for 7% tax. Now, we do live in Vegas, and for a lot of things in Vegas, they do have something called a live entertainment tax, which is a tax on top of tax, if that makes sense. And that's 9%. So that would be $3.06 by itself. But still, that only totals to $5.45. So I'm like, where is the taxes and fees of $23 coming from? It's just like a lot. So for 2 people, it costs $91 to get in. You don't really know what the breakdown of taxes and fees are. It literally just says taxes and fees on your receipt. So then I'm listening, right? Like, because I'm nosy. You guys know how I am. So okay, first let's just back up to the line. Okay, so you get in line, right? After you've checked in, you get in line, and there's a guy with like a top hat that's kind of creepy, like standing there, like counting the people in line. So I'm assuming as people line up, they take in like every 10 or 15 and a new tour guide comes out, okay? So they took our group, there was 15 people, which once again was too many. And then you go inside the door, which is where you're lining up, okay? You go inside this almost waiting room. It's it's connected obviously to the museum, but it's still disconnected. And that is where they have like a cashier, a bathroom, they have like water fountains. And this is where like you make your last pit stop, right? Like you're about to go in the museum. There's no other bathrooms. This is your do or die time. Like you can't really leave your tour guide if you're in the museum. And it takes about, this time it was about an hour and a half for the full tour, okay? So you go in and you check in again. So this person brings up, here's my paper. This was my booking receipt. So I just wanted to print it out so you guys could see it. So it's a booking receipt and it has a booking number up here. So you give the person the booking number, like, okay, you're checked in. You paid, you know, $34 a person. And it's taxes and fees total to $91. And so I'm listening. There's people in front of me that went. There's 2 people that went in front of me. They paid less than what I paid for online. They paid like $85 for 2 people. I don't get it. I don't know if it's because there's like an online credit card system that it costs more to pay online, I'm assuming. But I was a little irritated about that. Like I was a little salty about that. So do I suggest you pay online or in person? I don't know. If you're coming in from out of town, like Australia or like New Zealand, you better freaking pay ahead of time to make sure that you have a ticket. But generally, if you're a local or if you're coming from like California, I would just wait to pay in person because you're going to save like maybe $10 in person. I don't know why. I have no answer for you. I asked the girl and she kind of just like shrugged her shoulders. So I don't even think they have an answer. Once again, remember this is only a week in. Hopefully they work out these kinks over time. I don't know. I'm still just being honest with you guys of what I experienced because you guys know how I am. Okay, so I don't need that anymore. Okay, so another thing that was new. So once you go in and, you know, I think I told you guys last time in my last video, he has this huge plaque on the wall. He has this saying like, okay, you need to read this and then hold up your right hand and you have to promise that you understand the statement that the location is haunted and that the owners and management and people that work there are not liable for getting an attachment or a finger pain, okay? But then they give you now this like waiver, okay? So I just wanted to tell you this waiver. I did post it on social media. It's kind of intense. It's 2 pages that you have to read through. Like, I hereby release and discharge any claims for damage, harm, bodily injury, death, property damage. Like, I mean, it's in detail. It's like, and someone, like, a couple of you guys, like, wrote me and you're like, do you think Zach, since he knows, like, you injured your hand and, like, you got an attachment that, like, he did this paperwork? Yeah, that could be why, actually, to be honest. So this is what the pages look like. This is the back pages. So this is if you are a minor and your parents have to sign for you. You're basically releasing your rights to anything that happens when you go inside of the museum. You don't get to keep this. I took a picture of it because I take pictures of every single contract that I, you know, get. I want a copy of it, obviously, but you're like, it's a little detailed. There's a lot going on here. You're also consenting to not take pictures, not do ghost hunting, not do EVPs, not taking videos, and like you're signing your life away basically, and it's a binding contract, and if you don't abide by it, they can probably sue you. So anyway, that is the contract. I did post it to social media if any of you guys are wanting to see it in detail. What's my opinion on it? I mean, it's a little deep. Like, I was like, okay, we're signing the paperwork. You have to initial by every single mark on there. And then I still have to hold my hand up in pinky promise. It's just kind of like, it's a little repetitive. It's like, I shouldn't have to do a verbal contract and a written contract. I'm only saying that because I'm a producer and I'm a little bitchy about that, I guess. I find it to be a little overkill. But whatever. Maybe the verbal contract is this way of hyping the crowd up, of being like, oh my God, I have to agree verbally that if a demon bites me in the butt, that I won't sue the mansion for it. So I did. I did that part, whatever. Okay, so Now let's talk about going inside of the museum. Okay, so we talked about taxes. So you check in the room, 15 people is too many people. So we walk outside. So you leave this little waiting room, and now you're leaving back out the door that you came in, and it's this kind of curly like sidewalk that goes to the other side, okay? So the first thing you do with your tour guide is you hit this plaque that's kind of in front that says like the Wingert Mansion, established, blah, 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 like all this information on it. And my tour guide seemed a little nervous about it. So it was like, I don't know if she was nervous throughout quite a bit of it, to be honest. She had purplish pink hair. She did not want to go in a lot of the rooms with the group, which I was kind of shocked about. I don't really understand why a tour guide doesn't want to go in the rooms if she's that afraid. I was just shocked by it, that's all. Okay, so you go onto the other side of the mansion, and then the tour guide, they've done this twice now, so I know that this is obviously a habitual thing that they're going to do with every group. They say, is someone brave enough to knock on the door of the mansion? And somebody's like, yeah, me. Or if no one volunteers, they pick the closest person to the door. So they did that in my second group. I try to stay in the background because I've already done this. I've already been there. I don't want to take over, experiences from the group. So this group is like, this guy was like, okay, I'll go. So you knock on the door, and this like really creepy, what is supposed to be an inntaker comes to the door. The only thing I'm like betting with this is, if you guys remember on Deadly Possessions, what was that guy's name that like supposedly had a heart attack? Theodore? Okay, do you guys remember Theodore from Deadly Possessions? He supposedly had a heart attack. Anyway, I'm wondering if this was supposed to be Theodore's position, because Theodore is wearing the same kind of outfit, the top hat and like the tails on the coat. So this person comes in and lets you in, and the first room that they're going to... So once again, I'm going to state this again so I don't get yelled at. If you don't want to hear details about the mansion, stop listening, because I'm going to give details. I don't want anyone upset with me. I don't want you to say I ruined it for you, so stop watching now. So the very first room that you go into is an Oddities Room with a Zak Zoltar. Do you guys remember what Zoltars look like? They are like what are they called? Fortune tellers in a box. They have them in Santa Monica. You put in like a quarter, and like out pops this like fortune, which, where is that fortune at? I told you guys this was the fortune that came out of it. Do you remember? So every group goes in. Someone from the group has to volunteer to put in a quarter, and out pops this thing. Zak also has like a schmeal. His voice comes through, the mouth moves, the eyes glow red. And he says that he has created a hostel for his energies. So he's admitting that he has captured, I guess, attachments from all of the Ghost Adventures episodes, and that he has given a home for all of these attachments. So all of the attachments are placed in here, and they enjoy living there, is what he says. So in this room, he has a lot of weird things. The biggest thing, and I don't want to go, there's too many to tell you. I probably won't even remember all of them, but he does have a human skull wall. So I think there's like 13 skulls, and it's eerie to know that, I guess that's my empath, to know that those once belonged to a human being. The tour guides always say that his favorite thing to collect is human skulls. So you see this room full of human skulls. So it kind of sets you up for, wow, he's not afraid to collect things, and he's not afraid to show you, what he has in this creepy mansion that's haunted. Okay, so from there, you go into the next room. So the next room is a gambling room where they have a giant suicide table. Once again, there's a ton of stuff in here. I'm not going to remember everything to tell you guys, but there is a suicide table that is from Vegas. And they used to use it against, what was it for when people would bet on the house, is that right? You would basically be set up to lose your money. You'd be guaranteed to lose your money. And then if you would challenge that with the dealer, there's an area where they have like guns hidden, and you would die. They'd basically shoot you. Or if you owed money to the mob or a gambling debt, they would shoot you. So that's why it's called the suicide table. It's really old and it's really beautiful. And, you know, remember, don't touch anything when you're in there because you don't want to be responsible for anything breaking or being knocked over. So then they're gonna lead you into the next room. So the tour guide kind of says something like, if you did the dealer wrong or if you owed the mob money, you would be shot and killed. So now we're gonna attend your funeral. Okay, so you go in the next room. The next room he has set up like a funeral. This is where I told you guys he has the unbelievable stained glass. It's just gorgeous. And he has seats set up for everyone to sit down. He does have 2 live bodies. I'm sorry, not live bodies. 2 real life. They were real life. So it's like full skeletons that are in caskets. The thing that upsets me about this room is I have gotten to see them up close. I've actually stood up the time that I was there just alone with him. And he wanted to talk about the skeletons. And they're in like beautiful shape. They're in perfect shape. And one thing that I get disappointed with this room is that the tour guides don't encourage people to go look at the bodies, like to go up and look at the skeletons. They're not really in glass. Of course, you're not expected to touch them, but the tour guides just immediately walk out and expect everyone to follow. And I just feel like if you're there and, you know, you're into the macabre and paranormal like we are, then you should be encouraged to go look at it. And even the second time around, the tour guide did not have you get up and go look. Like, they could even play it into the story of, well, since we're in a funeral home, attending a funeral, before you leave, please pay your respects, or something like that. And people will just leave, and it just frustrates me. There's a point where it starts to get a little theatrical in this room, and I don't like it. I'll be honest. You guys want me to be honest? I'll be honest. Zak has hired several little people. I will not use the word midget because I know that's really inappropriate and I am not going to be offensive. So he has hired some little people to work there. And by the way, they're very nice. I met them behind the scenes in person. One's named Jose. Shout out to Jose. Jose was upset he couldn't get a break. Damn it, Zak, give Jose a break. Like, he needs a break. So anyway, there's a little person that comes out from the wall, okay? And he kind of gives you a spiel on the dead bodies. He talks with a British accent, and he's not British, okay? I don't know of a little person that's British that lives out here in the middle of the desert, like in the middle of nowhere. Let's not get too theatrical. He has told the same jokes both times I've been there, and neither time has anyone laughed at it. Like, it's okay to make a joke about death because obviously we all love paranormal, but his jokes are really salty and sour, like really bad jokes. Didn't you think that they're okay? So yes, I had some friends that went with me. They didn't think the jokes were good. You need to wipe the jokes out or change the jokes and test them out on groups. And if they're good, keep them. If they're bad, let them go, because otherwise you're making people sit there and roll your eyes because it's just not good. And drop the British accent. There's no one British that I know of that's really living out here and that would be making death jokes. So it's too theatrical. Let's not play that anymore. I'm sorry, I don't like that. I think that there's enough history and there's enough oddities in there to enjoy it without the presence of a theatrical thing going on. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Let me find where I'm at. Okay, so the next room you go into is the art gallery. So this is where the Crying Boy painting is. This is also where he has Bela Lugosi's mirror, if you guys are familiar with that. So I actually don't like this room. I'm going to be honest, and I don't know why. I don't think, I don't know what it is. I don't know if he has a giant mirror that was like original to the Wangert Mansion. I don't know if it's the mirror. Bela Lugosi's mirror is supposed to be haunted because it witnessed a murder, so they have the mirror completely covered up. If you're over 18, they will open up the covers and you can look into the mirror. I don't know if it's the Crying Boy painting. I just don't like the room, to be honest. It's not comfortable. Maybe it's the Crying Boy painting. I don't know. I don't like the room. So anyway, but it's beautiful. He has some beautiful haunted artwork in there. And the way it was designed is exactly what you would think of an art gallery being, and it's beautiful. I love art, so it's beautiful. Okay, so from that room, you're going to go into a room that I have another problem with, which is the puppet room, okay? Zach has collected a shit ton of puppets. I don't even know. Do you even know how many were in there? I mean, there's just tons, right? It's on every wall. Okay, so there's tons of puppets. The problem I have with this room is he has the room entirely blocked off. He has like it roped off, and all you can do is peek into this room. It is a small room, so I understand, you know, if he doesn't want people knocking things over, then he needs to put glass over, you know, where these items are. But I feel like puppets are already little, and they already have intricate detail. And if I can't get up and see them up close, I'm going to get frustrated. So I have a problem with, I don't get it. I don't get why there's a room that you can't enter. And I think like there's a Hansel and Gretel puppet in there that's like original to like the 1900s, wasn't it, or something? And I'd like to see those up close, and you can't see them. So that's really frustrating. I don't like that. Why can't you go in? You know, I don't know. Okay, so from that room, you're going to go into Dr. Kevorkian's waiting room. And then from his waiting room, you go into his actual room where the van is. So in the waiting room, it looks like you're waiting to see Dr. Kevorkian, and then a message plays from Zach on a television, and he kind of gives you in detail the history behind Dr. Kevorkian's van. I'm not going to go into that detail because I've done it on other videos, and you guys can Google it if you want to look it up. So once again, last time, so the first time I went in there, it was very happy energy. Last time, it felt very sad. This time, it just felt like empty space. In fact, I didn't get a lot of creepy vibes in the museum at all this time, so I don't really know why, but it just felt very subtle. I don't know if it's because it's been going on for a week. So Dr. Kevorkian's van, he has put a mannequin in the back, and he has hooked it up to the same meters that would have assisted the person or the patient with suicide. And that got me the first time I saw it because the mannequin looks very real, and it's very, I'm an empath, so it reminds you of like, wow, this person was that much in pain or suffering that they were willing to do this, you know? So it gets you a little bit because you realize, wow, at least they think between 140 or 130 to 200 patients died in that van. So it just kind of gets you. But I will be honest and say that I really like that room. And I don't know why. I think that Dr. Kevorkian was trying to be progressive in a time that it wasn't accepted. Okay, so from that room, you're going to go into, it's kind of like catty corner. You're going to go into a jail. So this jail is set up with like Charles Manson, various others. Like there's like 10, I think, serial killers that are involved in this jail. And then they also have the Santa Killer's suit. So he was the very first, I think he would abduct people from the internet. You know, he'd meet people off the internet, abduct them, and murder them. So he has that actual suit in there. He has a ton of stuff in there. So I can't really go through everything. But that room feels like a jail. Like he has the music playing, he has jail bars in there, he has Charles Manson's television, he has a piece of artwork Charles Manson did with a bloody handprint on it, and so that, like, Charles Manson was obviously crazy, he still is, but when you see like his actual blood, you're like, wow, like that's just intense, you know? So it feels that way, and it feels like intimidation. I can tell you that for sure. It feels like it's an intimidating spot. Let's see. From there, you go to this area called the Stairway to Hell. So this is when you go in front of the stairway of the basement. I told you guys that Zach does not go down there. He doesn't let his staff go down there, and he doesn't let anyone go down there. And you're especially not supposed to go down alone. So he has an illuminating light coming up from the stairway, and this is because there has been numerous reported satanic things performed in the basement. Apparently, the Bar Association of Nevada or Clark County used to have that building for their stuff. So, like, I'm a licensed cosmetologist, and so they would have cosmetologists come in to like renew their license, or nurses are part of the bar, and medical assistants or whatever. Anyway, isn't that right? Lawyers. Okay. Was that what it was? It was lawyers. Okay. Lawyer Bar Association. I got it mixed up. And they said they would only go down there to get paperwork in 2s and 3s. They refused to go down there alone because of the dark energy. People would get injured, they'd get scratched, they'd bleed, stuff like that. When I had seen Zak alone in there, he did tell me that he absolutely does not like the basement. Like, he will not go down there for anything. And you can just tell, like, it's completely closed off. You are told in the group of the tour guide that if you go down there without their permission, well, you won't have their permission, but if you go down there anyway, they will immediately throw you out. Like, you can't try to sneak down there. So obviously I haven't been down there. I have no idea what it is. So from there you go to another room, which is called the Winchester Mansion room. So the people that own the Winchester Mansion have donated several items from the mansion and given them to Zak to create this room. This room is very small. He wanted to make it feel like a maze, like the Winchester Mansion. And he also is kind of giving tribute to all of the energies that helped build the Winchester Mansion. Once again, if you don't know the history behind it, you'll have to research it because I don't want to go into it. But it's very small. So once again, 15 people in a tour group was impossible to get in there, and I was not happy about it. So we had to shift with like 5 people at a time. So it was just really uncomfortable, and I feel like if you're paying that much money, $100 for 2 people, then I don't want to feel uncomfortable and feel like I'm squeezed in a tiny room with a bunch of people, and I don't want to get distracted by my tour group. I'm sorry, that's just my opinion on it. Okay, so from that room, we go into Ed Gein's room. Okay, so it's kind of catty corner. So Ed Gein's room is... I believe I tried to really pay attention to detail for you guys this time. When you walk in his room, right above it, you see entrance to barn or something like that, or barn entrance. And so there's really no hint. When you start to walk in, it is pitch black. And I think on purpose, the tour guide leaves it dark so that you don't realize where you're walking into. So you walk in, and he has this, it smells like wet wood. Does it to you? Okay. So everyone thinks it smells like wet wood. It wasn't just me. I really tried to pay attention to that. Oh, and sorry guys, remember live show, sorry. So it's wet wood. You walk in, the big cauldron is in the middle. A lot of people, I've noticed now that I've been in there twice, they hesitate to go in. Like they like, it must be the energy of it. They're like they don't want to go all the way in. So the tour guide has to like, you guys, we need to go in and close the door. And people just like inch their way through. So I'm not the only one that feels weird in that room. But you can't see much if you just walk in the room. So if you guys go, you literally need to walk to the other side of the room and look up. Because he has created a bi-level barn, essentially, is what it is. And it's freaking amazing. Like, even though I'm telling you guys this, you still need to go. Like, you're still not going to experience it unless you go, because it's just the creative side of this is still ungodly. So if you walk to the other side of the room and you look up, you will see he's literally created a bi-level. And I think he knocked out part of the attic, he said. And you see up, and there is bodies hanging from the ceiling. Because if you know the story behind Ed Gein, he would... rope them by the neck or the feet and dangle them to skin the women to create the women's suit. So what Zak has done is created exactly what you would see in the crime scene. And it's really, I know it sounds dark, and it sounds really intense, but from a paranormal investigator standpoint, it's what you want to see. And but I will say that once you walk to that side of the room to look up, I feel like that's when the dark energy of Ed Gein gets you. I feel like that is when he is like, gotcha. Like, that's the type of feeling I get. So anyway, that's Ed Gein's room. Okay, so, and no, I did not feel sick when I went in there this time. I know a lot of people asked me. A lot of people also asked if my attachment went away. Yes, it did. I haven't had any problems at all. Just had to do some extra spiritual warfare. We'll use that term. Okay, let's see. Next room is... Okay, so then you go to this, like, library. Once again, you cannot go into the library. So it's kind of set up like the puppet room, but it's really small, so you don't really have anywhere to go. So this one, I do understand why it's roped off. He does have the skull in this area, which is the skull that supposedly pulled him out of bed. Apparently, this skull has been wreaking havoc recently inside of the museum. And there's like this cloaked mannequin that's standing behind the skull. And apparently it keeps getting knocked over and it keeps like landing on the skull or near the skull by itself. And it's even happened when tour groups are in there. So this skull apparently has some really dark, hardcore energy attached to it. So make sure you look out for it. He has the skull in this like little glass case. And I'm going to be truthful with you guys, like, because I saw the skulls in the very first Oddities room, this skull almost doesn't look human. Like, I don't know. I mean, they say it's a human skull, but when I was really kind of observing it, the eye sockets in this one are like really large, almost like an ape or maybe an alien. I don't know, like now that I'm thinking about it, but it doesn't look like a normal skull. It just has very large gaping eye sockets. So anyway, check it out when you're there. Tell me what you think about it. Okay, so now we're going to go into another Oddities hallway. There's all kinds of stuff, and you really can't, you don't have time to be there, but you can kind of look through it. He has little like cards that tell you what everything is, all kinds of stuff. Then you go into the celebrity hall. So the celeb hall has stuff from Steve Jobs, from Shirley Temple, Michael Jackson, Heath Ledger. Is there anything else? I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. Yeah, the Michael Jackson chair. Liberace. There's a lot, so I'm not going to remember all of them, but, and there was like a gangster that got shot and killed. Do you remember? He has Capote. He has Capote's outfit, right? Isn't that when he died? There's a lot of stuff there, and I don't know, I guess when it's an icon like with Steve Jobs or even Heath Ledger or Michael Jackson, it gets a little sad. That hallway feels sad to me just because they were a big part of pop culture, you know? Okay, let's see here. Okay, so from there you go to a taxidermy hallway. So he does have like boars and like chipmunks and what else? Like there was a deer and cats and a cougar. And he's got some weird stuff. So there's a lot of taxidermy stuff. So then from that, it opens up to this other area that is like a circus. So he has circus music playing. It smells like buttered popcorn. It smells like sugar, vanilla. Like, so it makes you, once again, remember for all the scents and stuff that are involved in each area. So he has the little sculptures. I can't remember who it was purchased by. He has a room full of like a circus playing. And these little hand sculptures. Every piece was hand sculptured. And I don't remember who did it. So you'll have to see it. It's beautiful. But I don't know where you would put a set like that unless you had a museum, right? Like, so it's weird. And from there, they have a lion that killed numerous trainers. And they have the lion taxidermied on the wall. So you get to see that lion. Okay, then you go into this creepy side room. So this is where they have... This has changed since the first time when you went with me. So this is where they have the other little person working. His name is Jose. Give Jose a break. Because Jose was like complaining and wanting a break and no one would give him a break. So somebody needs to give Jose a break. So Jose is kind of like, like a freak show. What's the person that's in charge of like the circus freak show type of thing? Ringleader. Yeah, like a ringleader. So Jose has this, welcome to live YouTube. Someone's at the door. Someone's getting it. Anyway, so Jose is doing this huge intro and telling you that he's watching you and be careful and watch your back. Right next to Jose is the psychic's, it's like, what is that called?
Gypsy cart.
A gypsy cart. Okay, so she sits in there and does readings and then you go upstairs. Okay, so the tour guide says, I'm not going with you, but please go upstairs and I'll meet you when you get to the top. The tour guide says, don't leave your group, stay together, and you don't have to walk fast. Okay, so you go upstairs and it's basically, what's the word? Like a fun house. It's like a circus fun house. And nobody is really acting up there or anything like that. No one is like acting as a person to like push the guide through, guide the tour group through. And I feel like people are really nervous as they're walking through because they don't really know what to expect next. They're afraid they're going to get scared. So instead of actually enjoying what's around, because Zak has a few actually mannequin haunted clowns up there, instead of enjoying it, everyone runs through. like it happened on both groups that I was in, and especially the second one. Like, everyone ran through really fast, like they were deathly afraid of what was going to be around the corner. And I feel like if they had someone to guide them through, they wouldn't be so apt to run through as quickly, and they would kind of enjoy it. And then when you're supposed to stay with your group, because it was instructed by the guide, you don't want to be like the one that wanders off, you know, to like go look at things because you're supposed to stay together. So that's a red flag for me. It makes me kind of upset, because if you're paying to see all this stuff, you should be looking at it freely and not be afraid of what's around the corner. All right, let's see here. Sorry, I made a lot of notes. Okay, so this is where the Dybbuk box comes in. So there are two rooms. I told you guys the first room is the entry room. They go over historical facts. And the second room is where the Dybbuk box. I do have some new information on the Dybbuk box. Interestingly enough, there is sage, like I said, and salt that is surrounding the Dybbuk box. The sage is molding, and they don't know why or when it started. And I looked to make sure, because I was like, wait a minute, like, because I have sage. I have a ton of sage. Like, I always have sage at my house, okay? And it never molds. Like, I've had this probably for like a year. That's from California. But anyway, the sage is molding. It's turning black. It's only been there for a couple weeks. So obviously this is related to the Dybbuk box. And when they put salt around it, the tour guide said that the salt was in perfect mounds around all four sides of the Dybbuk box. The salt looks like someone's been playing in the salt, and it's been moved back and forth, and all of the mounds are kind of crushed. It's really creepy, because she said, I told you guys, this Dybbuk box is surrounded by this giant piece of square glass. She said it takes several people to move it. I believe it because it's so heavy. She also said that it's locked, so you can't really access it without, I'm assuming, Zak's permission, or you know, someone that's in management that's at the museum. But the Dybbuk box looks like, I can't believe the sage. And when I say it's molding, it isn't kind of molding. There were pieces that were completely molded in black. So apparently when the last owner of the Dybbuk box agreed to give it to Zak, it was agreed that it was under the circumstances of it has to be surrounded by sage and salt in order for people to interact with it. So there's another really weird thing that happened since I was there. So it's literally been a week, right? Or if that. When we came out of the room from the Dybbuk box, the tour guide was like, I do want to show you guys this. So she took her flashlight and showed very high up on the ceiling / wall. And it's not within arm's reach. You could probably get to it with a very tall ladder. There are holes that are about that big that she said that were not there. And I don't remember seeing them, but then again, I didn't really look up there. But the weird thing about them is, if someone was putting a hole in the wall, they would obviously have to use a hammer and some sort of a sharp object to push it through. The holes do not push inward. All of the holes are pushing outward, which is very creepy. So she says they are theorizing that it's like something is trying to get out, if that makes sense. And I believe there was 3 or 4. I know there was 3 at least. But that was really terrifying to see that, because you could see literally like the wallpaper and the drywall was coming outward, and I don't think a person could really do that from, you know, the outside of the wall, and so high up. So, and they weren't like together, they were all in separate places. So that was really creepy, and I couldn't believe it. So then the next room next to that is Peggy. I didn't go in this time because I told you guys I think I had some sort of attachment from Peggy last time. I do believe that could have been what it was. I didn't go in not just because of the attachment. I didn't care about that. I didn't go in because there was 15 people in my group, and there were some people in my group that thought the whole thing was a joke. And I just don't think it's safe. Like, you know, I've had some experiences that you guys know about, and I don't like it when people are making fun of this stuff. I think that not only it puts them in danger, but it puts everyone in the group in danger. And I feel like those 2 rooms, the Dybbuk box and Peggy, are rooms that you shouldn't be joking around in. So when these people started, like, making fun of Peggy and mocking her and, oh, it's just a stupid doll, I was like, nope, I'm not going to be a part of this. I don't want to be a part of this. So I just went around the corner and waited. They had to go in groups of 5 into Peggy's room because there were so many people. Once again, very disappointed about the amount of people in my group. Okay, so next was Zak has a nightmare that he has had a reoccurring nightmare since he was a child. And I'm trying to figure out how I can word this without totally ruining it for people. Because it's really kind of disturbing, isn't it? Like, it's really disturbing. Like, is there a way to word this or just, no?
Just leave that for people.
Okay, I'm going to leave this for you guys because I'm just going to let you guys experience it. It's just something that's very disturbing. I feel like it's very personal to Zak, which is why I don't want to talk about it. But basically, this room is a nightmare he has had reoccurring since he was a child, and I don't want to explain it incorrectly. So I'm gonna leave it like that, and then at least you'll still have something to look forward to see. All I'm gonna say is if that was his childhood memory of dreams, like, I'm surprised like he isn't more disturbed. Like it's a very gory. So anyway, okay, next one. Let's see, nightmare. Okay, so now you're gonna go back downstairs. Okay, so this is where you're going to get in a room where there was a famous paranormal investigator, and I'm going to sound like a total ass right now because I can't remember who she was. Like, it was, no one can. I'm looking at my friends in the room, and they're like, I can't remember her name anyway. So there's a girl that was a famous investigator. Zak has some of her items. Basically, her family didn't want anything to do with her. They were embarrassed of the fact that she scientifically researched paranormal, and they put all her stuff up for auction, and Zak got it. So it was really cool. Let's see. Next room is... Okay, the next room is medical equipment, and there's a lot of different things, so I'm not going to touch base on all of them. But he does have a human hand, he has a human heart, and he has a human brain on display. And then he has this big machine that they used to use for tuberculosis patients. Because as we know, as paranormal investigators, that affects a lot of our investigations. So it's this like giant tunnel thing that people would... What was it?
Iron lung.
The iron lung is what it was called. Look it up. And people practically lived in there to survive from being diagnosed with tuberculosis. All right, let's see. The next room is dedicated to Sharon Tate, and it's basically the inside of a yacht. Once again, really cool room. I can describe it, but it's like you have to be there. A lot of people apparently get motion sickness. It is literally the inside of a yacht. And he's kind of given a memorial to Sharon Tate is really all I can explain it as. I think that when he met her sister, it must have really like touched him because he's very like emotionally in debt to Sharon Tate and her story, and like, you know, her falling off the boat. No one really knows how. It was a mystery. The candles are in there, but I guess a lot of people get motion sickness in there because it sounds, feels, and smells like a boat. So like the saltwater smell, the feeling of a boat. So people get sick when they walk in there. The next room is the demon house. I can't decide if I should tell everybody what is inside of the demon house or not. I'm not going to tell you the whole room, but I'm going to tell you part of it. The basement is supposedly where the worst part of the demonic activity took place. So the part of the land that he has, not the house is different. So he does have part of the house, but I will tell you that the part of the land that he has is the basement from the demon room, or the demon house. Our tour guide refuses to go in there. She says she's had a really bad experience. She said that she's deathly afraid to go in. So when she opened the door and closed it, she sat around the edge and opened it with like, she like put her palm like this and like closed it. So she didn't want anything but her hand exposed to the demon room, or the demon house. And I just, once again, I'm like...
Natalie Wood.
Oh, Natalie Wood. Did I say Sharon Tate?
Yeah.
Who's Sharon Tate?
That was killed by Manson.
Oh, God, why do I have that on my head? Okay, I'm sorry. Natalie Wood is what I meant. I'm sorry, guys. Wrong person on the yacht room. The yacht room was Natalie Wood. Sorry. Don't know why I said Sharon Tate. That creeps me out. So back to the demon house. there's too many incense. Like, do you agree with that statement? Okay, there's way too many incense. Zach, you gotta knock the incense down a little bit in there. I think they wanted it to smell like what would you think hell would smell like? Maybe cinnamon and spicy. I don't know. Like, but the incense in there is so bad, like it makes your eyes water. Like, it's not the demons, it's the incense. So let's please like take the incense down or out. It's just a little bit too much. But I once again, I don't get the tour guide. I don't understand if someone doesn't want to go in the rooms, why are they working there? And like, I'm not saying to fire somebody over that, but I'm just saying like we need to have a little chat, because if the tour guide doesn't want to go in the rooms, it's going to immediately make the tour people, you know, like who's visiting, not want to go in. So I don't really get that. I understand if you have a moment and you're afraid, but I didn't get that part. I really didn't understand it. So from there, they lead you into the gift store, which they have 2 really big gift stores. There's different stuff on both sides. And really big shout out to Zach's mom. She gave me a bunch of stuff for giveaways for you guys. So I want to make sure I'm going to divvy them up through the rest of the month of October, basically. So when I do these giveaways, there will be more than one person. I haven't really divvied up. I haven't counted total how many things she gave me. It was a lot of stuff. So when the giveaways happen, it'll be more than one. So make sure you enter like normal. So when you want to enter, you have to be subscribed to my channel. You have to give this video a thumbs up. You have to leave a comment below that you want to be a part of the giveaway. And since it's October, normally I do giveaways for a month, but I'm going to do them I'll pick winners on every Thursday. And then the new giveaways will start on Friday or Saturday. So tonight is the new start to the giveaway. You have to comment below what?
Once the live stream ends, comments will be open.
Oh, okay. Everyone's wondering about comments. Comments are not open till the live stream ends. That's just how live streams are. So I did want to talk about, so last part of this. So I went into the gift store because I was already going to buy you guys some stuff, right? Like, I was already going to buy some stuff to do giveaways because I know you guys love that. And I'm standing in the gift store, and I didn't have anyone that noticed me in the tour group this time, which is fine. Like, it's cool. We can be quiet, you know. And all of a sudden, like, 3 tour guides run up to me while I'm in the gift store, and they're like, "Oh my God, are you Ghost Girl? Are you Ghost Girl?" I'm like, who? Like, I forget to respond to Ghost Girl. Like, I should know it by now. In fact, like, by the 3rd time I heard that, I was like, Ghost Girl sounds familiar. What do I know that? Like, how do I know that? Like, so, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's me. I'm sorry." So, the tour guides were like so excited to see me. And then I took pictures and like gave hugs and all that stuff. And that's when Zach's mom, gave me a bunch of, stuff to give to you guys. But while we were standing there, the tour guides were like, they drug this poor girl in, and she's the resident psychic. And so they were like, if the psychic gives you a reading, because she's really good and authentic, will you talk about the psychic? And I was like, I'm not a psychic person. Like, you guys know how I am. I'm like super skeptical. Like, I'm just not always ready for a psychic. Like, I feel like when you go to a psychic, you got to get your mind right. I've had some really bad psychics. I've had some really good psychics. So I was like, I'm assuming that the kind of psychic Zach would hire would be legitimate. Obviously, I interviewed with him. And so, he's in depth when he interviews. I'm sure he tested it on himself. And so that scared me. I was like, do I really want to sit here with a psychic? Like, I don't know how I feel about that. But I was like, okay, I'll sit down with the psychic. I got a little nervous. I'm not going to lie. So first I was like, well, I want to tag you in a picture. I want to like let everyone know who you are to follow you on social media. The psychic she's about my age. Oh, here we go. This is the psychic. Okay, so that's me with the psychic. This is her, which I love her, like, image. Doesn't she have a great image? Like, she almost looks like a gypsy-ish psychic, okay? So she sits down with me, and she's like, I don't have social media. So she was like, I don't really know who you are. And I'm kind of like, oh, okay, I'm relieved, because I don't want to get someone that knows me, that like has watched all my videos and they know everything about me, and then it's like completely like fake, you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, good. So I asked to tag her in a photo, and if you notice on like my Instagram or Twitter, I didn't tag her because she doesn't even have social media, which I found very interesting. So anyway, we sat down. I was so nervous, guys. Like, I was just like, I can't do this. So first she takes out her tarot cards and she reads your tarot cards, okay? She didn't really read mine, though. Honestly, it was like a direct reading, which I was like stunned by, because like she called me out on so many things. So she did know that I was a YouTuber, obviously, and that's only because people had recognized me and I was taking pictures with them and stuff. But she's like, that's not what you want to do. She was like, you don't want to just be a YouTuber. She was like, you have bigger goals than that. And I was like, who is this person talking? You know, like, so she's like, you know, she's like, you're going to get what you want. You're going to get a show, or you're going to be able to produce a series, whatever you want. Like, she knew that I was into film. Like, she knew all this stuff. And I was like, this is like, I was terrified, because this is when you find a real psychic, it freaks you out. I will give you guys like a minor note. If you ever see a psychic, her or not, I try to keep my mouth shut as much as possible, because I feel like the more you talk, the more they're going to play off of what you say, and then they might just happen to get it right. So I was trying to stay as quiet as possible, but I couldn't help my reactions, because like when she'd get something right, I was like, that's like really shocking and scary. She also said something really like weird to me. Like, she was like, you're like the oldest soul I've ever met. She was like, Krystal, you have such an old soul. And she was like, she said something that I've never talked about on here, which I will, just to tell you guys how legit I think she is. She was like, you don't really feel like you're from here sometimes. Now, wait a second. I'm not saying I'm an alien. I'm not saying I'm an alien. So don't everybody panic and think I'm an alien. No. I do feel like I'm an old soul, and sometimes I look at this planet and all of the destruction and sadness that goes on with everyone hating each other and not getting along, and violence and death, and sometimes to myself, I'm like, damn, this is a sad place to live. Like, you know what I mean? Like, damn, this isn't really a place that I'd want to be, like, forever, but I chose to come here because I need to learn something from it. But that's not something I really tell everybody always. That's a very, like, private, personal thought that I've always had to myself, which is just, it's a sad place to be. This is a very hard planet to live on. This is a very... Like, everyone has struggles. Nobody has it easy. Everyone has ups and downs. Everyone has mountains and molehills that they have to crawl over. And sometimes I'm like, God, like, this is just really sad. Like, it shouldn't be this hard, you know, to be here. And so she looked at me and she was like, sometimes you think that you're not from here. Sometimes you look at this place like this isn't like home is, or, you know, something like that. And I was like, wow, that is like really scary. Someone would talk to me about that, because I've never publicly discussed it until now. And I was like, wow, like it just kind of threw me into a panic. And then she was like, you had a really difficult start this semester, you know, with film school. And I was like, oh my God, like, how did she bring that up? Like, you know, I've talked about it on my other channel. I did have a difficult start with film school because I'm a girl. I felt very singled out. You know, Hollywood and film is very male-oriented and male-driven, and I'm not. And so I had considered for a minute quitting film school, because you don't have to be in production or paranormal production. You don't have to have a degree to do that. So I had considered quitting it, and she called me out on it. And she was like, you really don't need your degree to get where you're going to be. She goes, you're going to be exactly where you want and all of your dreams by summer or mid next year of 2018. And she's like, you're in negotiations with contracts right now. And I was like, how does this girl know? Like, I'm always in contract negotiations. Well, not always, but every so often I'll be in negotiations with contracts for a show, for Ghost Girl Diaries. And I'm just waiting. You guys know I've talked about it. I'm waiting for the right thing to come along. But like, she called me out on so much, like so many things. And I was like, I don't even know how this girl knows. And it ended with her just being like, I really like bless your soul. And she was like, you are just a wonderful person. And she's like, you're on the right track and you don't need anybody to tell you that. But I will say that it made me feel better about the film school thing, because I really struggled this semester, guys. Like, I haven't talked about it a lot, but I really had a struggle in the beginning. And, you know, trying to go back to school and do something that you love. No one is very open in school, like film school, about paranormal, because you have night vision involved and DVRs and ghost gear, and you talk to people that want to be independent filmmakers, and they're like, why the hell do you want to do paranormal? They're like, why? Like, what, you can do something else, why that? And so I struggled, but she had a lot of stuff down. She's a really good person. She makes you, like, feel better if you get it right. And I didn't talk. I didn't lead her at all. Like, she knew this stuff on her own. And so the funny thing, at the end, I said, you know, can I interview you a little bit for my channel? She was like, yeah. So I said, you know, what's your feeling? What are your vibes on the museum? You're working in this haunted museum. Like, a lot of people are afraid to be here because of Zak. Has, like, the Dybbuk box, and Zak has the Peggy the doll, you know, all this stuff. And she was like, I haven't been through the whole thing. And I was like, what? I was like, you haven't been through the whole thing? She's like, I don't need to. She's like, they talk to me, they come visit me, I don't have to go to them. And I was like, wow, that was, like, a really broad statement for her to say. It was like, and she wasn't afraid. She's like, yeah, there's good stuff here, there's some dark stuff here. And she's like, and that's how you communicate with it. She's like, you set boundaries. And, like, she was just very, like, I don't know, I kind of liked her because she's very much, like, tell you how it is. And I guess I'm like that, so I really thoroughly respect people that are like that. So anyway, she's really cool. You can do readings with her at the end of your tour. She is legitimate. I would tell you guys the truth, because you guys know that I've talked about other psychics that I don't think are very legit. But, you know, she did talk about a few other personal things that I'm not going to say on YouTube. Because, like, yeah, it's nobody's business, but she knows. But anyway, she's really cool. She does the reading inside of this little gypsy cage, and she has it decorated, very girly, very cute, and she's a really cool person. So, now I am going to hand this off to my PAs, and I think that they have some questions that they've been writing down, that you guys want me to answer. If you have more questions, start writing them. I can't see anything on my screen. I can't see any of the questions. I can only see myself live. Okay. Anything?
Where is it in relation to the strip?
The museum?
Yeah.
Okay, someone asked, where is the museum in relation to the strip? So if you, okay, so the very front of the strip is Mandalay Bay. The very end of the strip is Stratosphere before Fremont Street, if anyone's gone there. It is about a block or two, maybe several, past the Stratosphere. And it's off of Charleston, which Charleston is a very main street in Vegas. And he is right near the art district. So honestly, if you just Googled the art district of Vegas, Zak is in the art district, or near the art district. He's, like, on the edge of the art district.
Protection prayers that are in the place.
Protection prayers that are in there, or that you can use?
What protection has Zak set up in the place?
Zak has a ton of protection set up. So the Dybbuk box room, he has Jewish prayer inscribed on the walls, and then he has a Jewish prayer coming over the speaker. So it sounds creepy, but it's not. Peggy is wearing a, what is it called? Rosary. Sorry. There's stuff to protect people in every single room. Do I think you'll get followed home like I did? No, but I also interviewed with him about paranormal investigation. So they probably overheard us talking and know that I already interact. So everyone needs to get out of their head. Like, so many of you have wrote me, oh, I don't want to go because I'm afraid I'm going to get followed home. Stop being silly. And protect yourself before you go in if you're afraid. Take a blessed St. Michael medallion. Take a St. Michael prayer card. In fact, one of my friends that just went with me yesterday put a St. Michael card in her bra. Like, it just made her feel better. So put it in your pocket. Put it in your phone. Like, you know, just, you're going to be fine. It's not a big deal. You're going to be fine. Say the St. Michael prayer before you go in. Say it when you come out. and firmly state, if anything's with me right now, you're not allowed to be. You're not allowed to come with me. And that's it. You'll be fine. What else?
Is the Dybbuk box room and Peggy's room optional?
The Dybbuk box and Peggy's room are optional rooms. There's several rooms that are optional, including the Demon House room. You do not have to go in them if you don't want to go in.
Was Ralphie May your neighbor?
I'm not going to answer that. I don't think he was my neighbor anyways. I think he was a guest over there. But anyway.
Is it worth traveling from Colorado?
Is it worth traveling from Colorado? If you're coming from Colorado, you better hit me up, 303. Better send me like a shout out on, Twitter or something, and I'll come down there and say what's up. Yes, it's absolutely worth the drive or trip from Colorado. Yes, come out.
Will you be working there?
Will I be working there? I am not disclosing any information at this time. I am not agreeing nor denying anything at this point.
Why is the basement not open?
Why is the basement not open? Because there was satanic worship down there. In fact, they at one point had been storing items down there, like I'm assuming extra office supplies or construction supplies. It was so bad they removed them from the basement. So nothing is stored down there. No one goes down there. Nobody. Not even the workers there go down there. What else?
Will you go to the museum again?
Will I go to the museum again? Probably. Not this close back to back. I specifically went again. I wanted to go on Friday the 13th. It was incredibly busy. And I wanted to go back to get a more detailed plan for you guys to talk about it. It was so requested that I did a big video. That is why I went back. What else?
You answered, will you be working there?
Yeah.
What's your favorite room?
What is my favorite room? I like Dr. Kevorkian's room, and I like the funeral room. I like the, and I don't know why. I think the stained glass is probably one of my favorite things. Just because to say that it's in there is just like, it's just crazy. And then, I don't know why I like Dr. Kevorkian's room. I just do. I think it has good energy for some reason. I know that sounds really strange, but I do. I like his room. What else?
Do you know if Zach would do meet and greets, and would you go through the museum with anybody?
Will Zach do meet and greets? Well, obviously he's going to be filming majority of the time for Ghost Adventures. I know that he has met some fans down there, but don't expect him to always be there. So you guys want him to be filming for Ghost Adventures. Like, that's the priority, right? So I don't think he meets everyone. I think he sporadically comes out to different groups to say hello and take pictures. He's not standing anywhere where you can see him. But yesterday he was helping plan parking. So remember, now he's shifted from executive producer of Ghost Adventures to owner of the museum. So he's doing everything, right? Like, the owner has to know everything. So he's really, really busy. Would I meet anyone there? Yeah, I would do like a meet and greet thing.
Would you go on tours with people?
Oh, would I go on tours with people? Yeah, I would go on tours with people. You guys would have to let me know, like tweet at me or Instagram me or Facebook me and let me know.
How long have you personally known Zach?
How long have I known Zach? Since Paranormal Challenge 2011. Is that right? I mean, okay.
Is Annabelle there?
Is Annabelle there? She was temporarily, but no, she is not there now.
Do you think you get your money's worth?
Do you get your money's worth? Oh my God, you guys, like, just because I'm talking about it, you still can't see it. Like, the construction on every single room is different. It's really beautiful, to be honest with you. It is very, like I said, it's a piece of artwork, and yeah, like it's totally worth it. If you're a paranormal enthusiast, you have no excuse not to go, is my opinion on it. I know that there's some things he needs to work out that I talked about. That's because people wanted me to review it, so I reviewed it. And you know, I don't let things slide, even if it's Zak Bagans. You guys know I tore him apart a little bit with Deadly Possessions. I'm not afraid to do that. So yeah, I mean, there's some kinks. Hopefully we can get past the kinks, but it is so worth it. You guys have to go. Just because I'm talking about it, you're not feeling the energies that are there. You're not feeling the rooms. You're not getting the sensational vibe from each room. You're not seeing the architecture. It is something you've never seen before. You absolutely have to go.
Is there anything he should add?
Is there anything he should add? There's more rooms. Like, that's not all. But I think he's still building onto rooms. There's a ballroom. Like, yeah, I don't think he's done. I mean, there's so many haunted items. Like, if you go on Etsy alone, I've done it just out of curiosity. There are so many dolls that people are trying to get rid of because they're, like, haunted. They're like, I don't want this doll. It's causing havoc in my house. Send $20 via PayPal and it's yours. So, yeah, I don't think that haunted objects will ever go away. I think it will just continue to grow. What else?
The tour guides.
My first tour guide was good. My second tour guide was seriously afraid. And she told us some of the experiences that she's had, but I was very frustrated she wouldn't go in the rooms. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to get her fired, so let's hope she doesn't get fired. Like, that's not my intention with this. But I was not happy that she didn't want to go in the rooms. I just feel like she should be the one leading. Like, if there's a leader, that should be the leader's job, is to go in every room and face it fearlessly, because that's the point of these exhibits, is to persuade people to go inside, to look at these images and, you know, like the art gallery and the things. And if they don't want to go in, a lot of people in my group hesitated. Like, they were like, if this tour guide doesn't want to go in, why the hell do I want to go in? You know, so I don't know, maybe she was having an off day. Everybody has those, but I'm only doing this review because I know that sometimes people that work with Zak or for Zak, he will find out what I say. So I'm only reviewing it because I want them to know my opinion on my experiences there. Anything else? No, yes, maybe?
Did I ask you if anything he should add?
Yep. That's it? Yeah. Okay. I guess we are good then. Just wanted to make sure I caught some questions because I know a lot of people have questions. All right, so we're good to call it quits. Did I cover everything? You think we're good? Okay, guys. Yeah. So make sure you enter the giveaway. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you comment when this video closes. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel. Make sure you guys follow me on social media. I'm so glad I got to talk with you guys. You guys absolutely need to go to the museum. It is the best thing ever. You have to experience it, and you'll enjoy it. It'll be a lot of fun. So I think I covered everything. I wanted to do live just to do something a little bit different. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Sorry I was running late, but live is different than edited. So, okay.
What does the psychic cost?
Oh, last question. What does the psychic cost? I can't remember because I looked on the website and it's not on there. No, it wasn't 100. It wasn't.
75.
I think for like a combined reading of several things, it's 100. But for each individual item, I can't remember. Like, I think there's like prices vary from $40 to like $60, and then if you want to get everything done, I think it's like 100. So I can't remember. And it's not on the website, which it should be. That should be on the website too, please. If someone's listening that works there, put the psychic's information on the website. And that's about it. All right, guys, make sure you subscribe to my video. Make sure you give me a thumbs up, enter the giveaway, and I will catch you guys next time.